Welcome to my tummy tuck journey. I hope these videos will help all of you in your recovery.
Hello, this is Deborah J. Kelly. I'm 5 days post-op. Just to briefly explain, I had a tummy tuck. So be prepared for the scar. It goes from one side here to the other. I decided to keep my belly button because I didn't want it repositioned, and they've managed to do that, which I'm really happy about. And I had muscle repair, which was something that I really needed as the muscles were coming apart. And then I had some liposculpture, which was performed, I think, on the front, on the abs, and also on the lower back here, on these things. I think they call them love handles. Anyway, I had hundreds of questions. I literally bombarded my surgeon. I must have got on his absolute nerves. And even though I'd prepared, there was still so many things and so many questions that I had. So I'm going to try and answer some of those for you today. So I've got, I was given a sheet before I actually participated or this operation took place. So there were several things. They were talking about the fact that liposculpture and a tummy tuck won't necessarily make you slim. That wasn't why I had it done. I had it done because I menopaused and I'd already had like muscle problems, and it just got really bad. So I just decided that it was something that I really wanted done, and I'm really, really pleased so far, but obviously still recovering. So let me talk to you about the post-op that comes with what they call the intervention. They say that it will take you between 4 and 6 months to actually see the full result, because there's going to be quite a bit of swelling. Obviously, at the moment, because it's so recently done, I still feel completely numb. I couldn't really look actually at the scar. I got my friend Frankie to change the dressing, and I didn't look actually at my scar until I think it was day 4, because I was scared to. So the dressing is just a clean piece of dressing with some micro tape, and that I have to wear for 3 weeks over the actual scar on the tummy. And the reason for that is so that your Faha, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, so that your Faha doesn't rub onto the scar. Just going to scroll down. Okay, so beforehand, you're asked not to drink, not to eat or smoke after midnight. And that's the night before. I had my surgery at 7 a.m. in the morning. So I was the first person, but I'd actually requested that. So it gave me a little bit more time to recover during the day. They ask you to take things like multivitamins so that your body is nice and healthy and strong for the operation. So when I left the hospital, I was in something called Faha number 1, which was a size small, and I have it on actually at the moment. So it's quite a restrictive garment, like so, and it's got a pillow inside. Again, the pillow is supposed to cushion you just in case you accidentally knock yourself, and also to stop any trauma to the scar. So I've got to wear that for, they recommend 10 days. And then from day 11 to day 21, you go down to a very small Faha. I bought mine at the clinic. It was made by a company called Lipoelastic, although I know that there are other companies out there. I think Macom is one of them, and they also do very good post-operative compression garments. So you then change. I've got this Faha, it's a size small. It's very, very difficult for me to get it done up on my own. So I cannot stress how much you need somebody with you to actually help you with these kind of things, because it seems like it's absolutely minute. But anyway, we'll see. And then from day 20, 21 to week 6 to 8, you can wear a new compression garment, which is really still going to be tight, but you've got a little bit of a choice then for flexibility. So the idea is that it's still sculpting you, but that small size that I've got to wear is going to be the real one that is going to compress and stop any of that swelling. So I'm also still in my socks, my over-the-knee socks. I don't think you necessarily need to be, but I'm going to wear mine until I feel comfortable not wearing them again, because I do get an issue with my knees. So I think it's quite important for me to wear those, especially if I'm not being that active. They do ask that after sort of day 4 or 5 that you get up and you start walking around. Different surgeons say different things. Some of them say you should be walking a mile, and then, you know, after sort of 2 weeks you would then up that to like 2 miles. I'm finding it quite difficult and quite tiring, and I get out of breath, which is something that you will get. Even trying to undo my Faha or do my Faha up leaves me really, really breathless. So think about that. Think about your pillows. You have to be propped up into a sitting position and you have to sleep like that. Now, I naturally go over to the fetal position to sleep, which you're not supposed to do. And I was naturally doing that. I was naturally sliding down the bed, and I was having to kind of remind myself in my mind every time I sort of went over to the side to go back onto my back. So you can't go onto your stomach in terms of sleeping. They ask for about 6 weeks because obviously you've got your scar there. Okay. I was given something called lymphomostat because I had my surgery in Belgium with a surgeon I knew very well. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, I waited 2.5 years for my surgery. So I really, really trusted, you know, this person. And so I was taking this. It's supposed to help with drainage. And I had to message them and say, look, do I swallow it or do I chew it? To which they replied that I had to chew it. I was given antibiotics and painkillers, advised to rest. I'm just having a look. Obviously not to pick up things. I still have problems because I've still got to do things around the house, and it's really difficult for me because it's not easy to bend down, and it's not easy to pick things up. So they ask you not to do that. I think it's for about 4 weeks. So I'm just going to have a quick look while I'm looking at all of my questions. They also told me about the sun. So now that the weather is getting nicer, they say not to go in the sun, definitely not to have any sunbeds or anything like that for at least 6 weeks. But then they say when you do go in the sun that you should still be wearing SPF on the scars, because even though you're still wearing your compression garment and the scar is covered, that the UV rays from the sun can penetrate through the garment. So they're quite strict on what you can do with the sun. So I sent so many messages. I was getting a little bit confused about my compression garment and exactly, because it's very painful, particularly around the legs, because I got one with long legs and I actually ended up cutting it, to be honest with you. So it's a little bit looser because it's not at night time. It's really, really quite painful. They also gave me some iodine, which again I've shown in other videos, and that's really just to keep that scar really clean. I was recommended to do that after 7 days. And then I messaged them to say, look, you know, what should I do about my scar creams? When should I put them on? How regularly should I be putting them on? I was recommended to wait until the scar actually healed up and all the scabbing came off before I actually use that cream. So at the moment, because you're supposed to avoid showers and baths and so forth, and again, doctors will differ, but mine was 6 to 7 days, so I'm just hand washing at the moment. So apparently I can add that cream to the scar once it looks like it's healing up, as much as is needed, just to massage it in and let it absorb into the scar. I also asked about the lymphatic drainage massages, which I was asked to start after sort of 7 to 10 days, depending on how I feel, and to have at least 2 a week. I've actually bought something, it's a lymphatic drainage suit, which again I'll be showing you in these forthcoming videos. And it's like you're a Michelin man, and you wear it and it inflates and then deflates. So I'm thinking that's a good idea to be using in between having my lymphatic drainage massages. I talked about my incisions because I wasn't quite sure. So I could only see a tiny, what looked like a little incision at the back here, just on my buttock, upper buttock actually. And apparently that's got 2 stitches in it, which are supposed to be removed within 7 to 10 days, but I can't get mine removed that early. So I will have those removed professionally. And then there's no scarring or stitches here at all, because I used the scar to actually go in to do some of the lipo selection and so forth. So the only scar that I have is here. So apparently I only have 2 stitches, which is great. So let's have a look and see. It's also important for me to say resuming sexual activity as well. And they were really saying, well, it's going to be as and when you feel like it, but avoid obviously positions where you're going to hurt yourself, you don't want to strain yourself and all of that kind of stuff. So give yourself time. I'm certainly not thinking about that right now. So okay, so that's fine. Just going to have a look at a few more. So yeah, I've been having weird cravings. So straight after the op, I really didn't feel like eating at all. And the only things I could eat were eggs. They were very strange things, eggs or bananas or fruit or that sort of thing. And apparently that's quite normal. I've still got some real pain and swelling. Apparently that's quite normal. That's why you wear your compression garments, and it is going to go down. So I will keep you informed on all of that. I just bombarded this lady with messages because the thing is, until you actually have this surgery, you don't really realise the things that you need to know. I've got incredibly dry skin. It seems to have dehydrated me. You're supposed to be drinking loads of water, loads and loads of it, obviously to flush your lymphatic system out. You're not supposed to be drinking alcohol. You're not supposed to be smoking and all of that kind of stuff. I'm also having a terrible problem going to the toilet. So I've just bought some Senna to help me. That's again quite normal because these medications apparently can cause it. So yes, so we also talked, I got a bit scared really. And I did talk about, because I've been Googling it, it's the worst thing to do, isn't it? A hematoma. And I was trying to sort of work out how I would recognise that. It's basically a lump, and in some circumstances it has to be drained. I think this is why it's really important to have your massages and to, you know, actively be looking at yourself. So I'm going to start some self massages as well, which I think are really, really important. But I was just messaging, can I remove the stockings now? Can I do this? Can I do that? Do I really have to wear this compression garment 24/7? The answer is yes. So I'm trying to do what I can. I hope that I've helped you and to kind of reassure you as well that it is a process. And, you know, you've just gone through this major operation. Your body's got to get used to it. So I'm feeling very, very tired a lot of the time. If I try to come down the stairs, I do one stair at a time, holding onto the banister. When I get down, I'm so exhausted, I actually need to sit down. So getting out of breath, getting exhausted all of the time. But I hope that that has helped you, and I hope in the future, days to come, weeks to come as well, I'm going to be able to give you some really valuable information on making the best of your surgery and obviously of your results.